Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of AV Career Masterminds. I'm happy to share that this episode is going to be talking to one of the amazing learners that NextLVL Learning is bringing to InfoComm. So Georgia, if you would introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
I'm Georgia King. I currently work in the educational media department at Pace University. So my official title is AV Support Specialist, and I've been here for about 2.5 years now.
You're a little bit different than some people that are in the AV industry because you have a different kind of degree than most of us probably have. As we say, we fell into the industry. So talk about the degree that you have and where you got it from.
Yeah, so I majored in audio engineering technology at Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee. So that's kind of my background. It's definitely more audio focused, but as I've worked in the AV industry, I've kind of been able to pick up the other aspects of working in AV outside of just audio.
So how did you decide that's what you wanted to do and make that your degree?
So I got into AV through music. That was kind of my primary interest growing up through middle and high school. That's mostly what I did is just play music, different instruments. And so that's kind of how I got introduced to a lot of the, mixers, front of house gear. I started becoming interested in how everything worked when I would go to concerts or when I'd be playing. So that just kind of led me to deciding that maybe that would be something I'd be interested in. And I kind of researched programs and was able to find something in Nashville. And so that's kind of how I made that leap.
Yeah. Now, are you from Nashville originally? Is that where you're from, or where are you from?
No, I'm from North Carolina. So it wasn't too far of a move, but I'm about 8 hours from Nashville. So.
And I think if you're going to do audio and you like music, especially if you are a country fan, that is definitely the place to go because there's so much that goes on. I've only been to Nashville once and it was amazing and I can't wait to get back. But that is definitely a country mecca for audio.
Yes, absolutely. And it's cool to see it's expanding too. So there's a lot of different music coming out of there now, but yeah, it's a great place.
Yeah. So then how did you get to New York from North Carolina to Nashville, now up to New York? How did you get to New York and how did you get at Pace doing what you're doing now?
So I was just looking for jobs out of college. I graduated during COVID times, so that was a bit interesting. So during my college career, I had done a lot of live audio. So I had been a stagehand and a front of house engineer, a monitor engineer for a lot of the productions on my campus. So that kind of led me into thinking maybe I'll be interested in doing some live stuff. But then, of course, COVID comes and I kind of had to shift my focus a little bit. So I was kind of looking to see what was out there. And I have some family members that work in higher ed, so they kind of planted that seed in my mind of, hey, there's actually probably some opportunities at universities for AV, and that might be something that you could get into right now. So I was kind of just looking for things, and then eventually I ended up coming to Pace just through kind of thinking about that as an opportunity.
That's great that you had family members in higher ed that talked about that because I know that when we talk to some people, when they think about audio and they think about visual and they think about IT, they look at the big name companies, right? Like the Googles and the Microsofts and the Zooms and all of those. And they don't think that you are and can do the AVIT in a higher ed. Even though as a student, you probably saw it in your classroom, but that connection isn't there because you have so much other stuff that's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So you're in this career, you're up at Pace, and I know that I got to see you running around working, which you did such an amazing job helping the team and working with the team for International Women's Day and Diversified when we were at that event. So being able to work with Brad and being able to work with George and understanding kind of what their focus with Next Level Learning is and about helping the students, what was your thought and what were some of your feelings when the discussion about us wanting to bring students, as I call students, because anybody that is wanting to learn about AV and just new in the industry is a student to me. What's your thought and what was your thought and feeling about coming and wanting to raise your hand and say, yes, I would love to go?
So it sounded like a great opportunity in many ways, networking being one of them, just being exposed to people that have been in the industry for a while, um, being able to meet people and learn just by having those interactions. So I was really excited about that, and also just the opportunity to go and see products, go to courses, just pick up new information that would be unique to the experience of going to InfoComm really excited me. So I was very excited about it. Still excited, and I think it's just going to be an amazing opportunity.
And what I love too is the fact, did you say also that you wanted to take the CTS prep class?
Definitely interested in that. That's been something I've been really considering for a while, and I definitely want to add that to my um, just list of skills. And I feel like it's a really great thing to do. So definitely.
Awesome. Well, and that is definitely right because it's kind of like a boot camp kind of thing, get you understanding of what it is and how to start to prepare for it and things like that, which is great. Because I think if I had to take that test today, I probably wouldn't be able to get through it. So I give you all of the credit. I still think about it and say when I can get some muster up some time to do it, I will definitely do it. But so, as some of the things that are going on, and I know that we're working on scheduling meetings with the three of you to kind of go through and talk about what we're doing. And I said to Brad and George and Gary, I said these guys are probably gonna freak out because I'm registering them for things, and they're gonna start getting emails and their invites. So along those lines, I registered you guys, you three, for some of the evening events that go on. And so, when you get to InfoComm, you hear the word party, right? Everybody's talking about some type of a party, but really they are just, yes, we call them a party, but they're gathering events, they're networking events. So speaking of the networking aspect of it, what are your thoughts and feelings of being able to attend some of those kind of lower key, everybody's not so let me focus on a product, but a little bit more laid back and a little bit more able to talk to people in the evening, like those type of networking events? Is that something that sounds exciting or a little intimidating, or you're not sure?
I think a little bit of both. Like, I think it'll be a wonderful opportunity, and something that I feel like is really good for just developing your skills and your relationships over time. So I'm excited about it, putting myself out there a little bit more and just picking up some new connections so I can just continue learning from those people that I meet, hopefully, and make those connections.
So what's one of the things or two things that when you get to Orlando and you're at the show that you say, these are the main, either whether it's a product or it's a manufacturer or maybe a session that you want to do. So let's look at product. Is there any specific type of product that you are really interested in seeing and talking to somebody about?
I think big interest of mine right now is just kind of seeing the control systems landscape. Just, getting a little bit of a broader understanding of everything that's out there because I feel like everything that I've been exposed to has kind of been in one line. So I'd love to just learn about the different options and maybe why we might want to use something like one platform over another as far as control systems. So I'm excited about that. Like you said, the CTS prep, just for general knowledge, it's not really a product, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I'd say the control systems, just seeing the
Yeah.
marketplace and
Okay.
yeah.
So some of the other things to think about too is there's all of the sessions that go on that are free, right? They're right there on the show floor. And there's Avixa has their sessions. Have you been able to go through the InfoComm site to see what some of those free sessions are and things that are going on?
Yeah, I've been able to go through, I mean, there's so many different ones to choose from. So I was kind of looking at each one. I was like, oh, well, can't go to all of them. But yeah, definitely. I think a lot of the networking focused ones I'm really interested in because that's kind of an area where I feel like I definitely need to grow in my knowledge. So um, kind of maybe focusing a little bit more on AV over IP, I think would be great.
Yeah. So those type of things are great too. And when you say that, because you're going to be able to find those different manufacturers that are there, and those sessions that they offer, everybody is always opening and welcoming. The whole AV community, AVIT community is very welcoming in a way. So when you go through this, and I'm sure that you have seen some of the things that from our standpoint at Next Level that we're going to have you three do. Has Brad or George explained a couple things that we've got on the list for you guys, or right now is it still kind of not sure and we're waiting to hear what happens?
I kind of got an inclination that we're going to be maybe on the showroom floor at some point. I kind of just have that little bit of information. Um, and then other than that, obviously the networking events and attending some of those courses throughout the conference. So yeah, I talked to Brad a bit about it, and it sounds like we're going to be doing a lot of different things. That's kind of what I know at this point. So yeah.
Well, and one of the things that we want you guys to do is have fun too, because it's going to be a very overwhelming experience for the first timers that are there. And we've all talked about, going to InfoComm and you do the booths and then you kind of go back to your hotel room and you don't understand all of the additional things that go on in the networking. So we definitely want you guys to have that networking feel, and meet as many people as we can. And we're not going to leave you stranded, right? We're going to make sure that you guys have somebody there with you. So of the other two, do you three have any type of your own communication kind of going on? Because you are in that kind of same age group, you guys are all in the same boat of being working at a higher ed institution, just being in the industry a couple years. So do you three have your own like little text message chat going on yet, or no, has the communication been minimal?
Not with the three of us. I've been talking to Elena a little bit. So I think we're going to try to meet up and get coffee or something and chat a little bit. Because I actually met her at one of the conferences, the women's conference we had. And we were talking about our jobs and they sounded very similar. So I'm excited to talk with her a bit more. Um, but yeah, we need to get in a group and I'll chat about it.
So when you look at this and this experience that you're going to be able to get, what are some of your hopes for other women in the industry, or even maybe some of the women student workers, or even some of the young girls that you're coming in contact with at Pace? What are you hoping to bring back and say to them on what the industry is, and why you would want them maybe to take a chance and join our industry?
Well, hopefully, I can give the impression that the industry is changing, it's growing, there is opportunity for women. And if you're interested and you put yourself out there, that it can be a really wonderful experience and you'll meet some amazing people. And if you have interest in AV, it can be a great career. So, hopefully, just bringing back kind of that understanding, just that exposure and saying, hey, there's opportunities for everyone. If you want them, you can go out and get them. Um, so yeah, I guess just maybe modeling that and kind of expressing that, if this is something you're interested in, talk to me and talk to other people about it, and we can definitely, bring you up um, and just expose you to the wonderful opportunities, especially for women as it continues to grow.
Yeah, because that is one thing that we always talk about is the fact that one, there's so many organizations out there that focus on getting women in the industry, and there's so many, and like us, there's a couple other organizations that focus on youth, right? And we really want that young engagement to be able to come in. Um, so let me ask you this, Georgia. Coming from an audio background, how hard was it for you to incorporate the video side of what goes on with that audio video portion of the industry?
I think a lot of the basic skills are similar. So I think it's about learning the terminology and the equipment, but as far as handling audio and video, I mean, personally I think audio can be a little bit trickier. So I feel like the skills kind of translated. And I also feel like AV in particular, it's one of those fields where you're just constantly learning and picking up new bits of knowledge over time. So if you kind of just have that mindset, if you're wanting to kind of expand your knowledge base across, video, networking, audio, if you don't have that experience, it's really all about the mindset and less about what your specific focus in your education may have been. If you didn't even have that formal education but you still have that mindset, you can pick up those skills if you know where to look and you get the correct experience.
That's amazing to hear because I think some people feel that they need to know something, right? You need to know. And I talk about my story. I was a teacher when I got into the industry. I taught with a projector and a smart board, and that's the only thing I knew. So I knew minimal amount. But I think, like you said, if you're open to understanding that technology changes and the learning aspect of it, that is a great thing for people. So Georgia, talk real quick before we, and I don't forget here, talk to me a little bit about what it's like now working at Pace, because you've been there 2 years, you said?
Yeah, a little over two.
Little over 2 years. So talk to me a little bit about that first week that were there kind of on the job. You just started, what that feeling was being young, being, a woman, being new kind of into the industry to today.
Over the past 2.5 years, I've been able to just experience a lot of change, just even within that small amount of time. So I remember first starting out, it felt like there was so much to learn and so many spaces to get familiar with, so much equipment to get familiar with. And then, so many changes took place over that time. We have kind of shifted our whole structure where, our offices are all over the place. We used to be in one office. The way that we kind of service things is different. We got a new building with a bunch of new equipment, new spaces to learn and service. And so I feel like it's kind of weird looking back on that time because you kind of realize, as I was saying earlier, you're just constantly learning. So I feel like that feeling never really goes away, but you kind of just get into a place where you're just comfortable with that idea and you gain confidence over time. And so when a new challenge or something new to learn is thrown at you, you're able to take that on and just continue to grow.
Which is true, right, because you look at it and you go, what I did yesterday is different than what I'm going to do today, and it's definitely going to be different than what you're going to do tomorrow. So how many women are there in your department there at Pace, or that you work with?
Actually, our CIO is a woman, which is very awesome. In my immediate department, so on the New York City campus, I'm the only one that's full time, but we have several female students, and a lot of them are interested in AV. I have one that I was just talking to. She's actually starting to do AV outside of her job at Ed Media. So I got really excited about that because she was telling me about, some of the stuff she was doing. So we have a lot of really great student workers in our department that, I'm hopeful will join the industry.
Yeah. So those student workers that you have, do you know what their majors are? Are they majoring in anything that has anything to do with AV, or did they just do this because it sounded fun?
So some of them are kind of adjacent. None of them are specifically AV majors. In New York City, they don't really have that option, but um, we have a lot of computer science majors who are comfortable with tech on the software side and the hardware side. Some of them, but some of the ones that have a particular interest, similar to me, they're interested in the arts, so they might be a screenwriting major. It's one of our students, but she has really just taken to AV. I have one who is a psychology major. So I've talked to a lot of them, and they would really love to be able to have that education because they've kind of just had to learn through the department. So I think that's something that would be really exciting for them and for students in the future, is to have that opportunity.
So the screenwriting major, that just sparked an a thought, because that would make sense that they would find this interesting, because that's part of what their job is going to be. They need to understand. Oh, I'm not a movie theater, nor have I written a screenplay of any sorts, but I'm just imagining that that's going to really help in that aspect if they choose to stay there.
I think a lot of the students have realized how AV skills can really apply to any industry, and just having that AV background is going to give you an edge in whatever you do, because you're going to be that person who knows how to fix something when something's going wrong, and that's going to be noticed. And so I feel like it's the knowledge that they've hopefully gained is applicable to whatever they go into, whether it's specifically AV or not. Every industry needs AV to some degree.
Love that you said that. That is so true. They do. That's the one thing we at Next Level want everybody to understand, that we're working with and we talk to, that it doesn't matter what the company is. They always are going to have some type of AV going on, and IT, whether it's, the CEO works from home or at the office or conference rooms, everybody's going to have something. So you just have to kind of know what to look for there for that job.
Definitely.
So Georgia, let's leave us with, and thank you for jumping in and talking, because we are so excited that you are going to be joining us at InfoComm with Next Level. And from my standpoint, helping people and talking to people about having a career within AV, it's so exciting to see you as a young female enjoying and loving what you're doing, and so excited to be able to join us and come with us to InfoComm. So tell our listeners and anybody that's watching where they can get in touch with you if they want to chat with you a little bit more about your journey, or ask questions on how they can get into the industry also.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I just want to say thank you for having me on, and I'm very excited about InfoComm, and thank you for the opportunity. If anyone wants to reach out to me, they can find me on LinkedIn, Georgia King, on there, and then also feel free to shoot me an email, gking, King, at pace.edu. And yeah, I'm excited to continue to connect and meet people at InfoComm, and I think it's going to be a really great opportunity. So thank you.
You're welcome. So guys and listeners and anybody that's watching, if you are going to be at InfoComm, make sure to keep your eye out. Our Next Level learners will have a little jacket or a little shirt or something that kind of distinguishes that they are with Next Level Learning, and that they are one of our learners that we have brought down to InfoComm. So we want you to introduce yourself to them. Don't overwhelm them. Don't bombard them, but introduce yourself to them, connect with them. We want this to be an amazing experience for them as they are there. And as we always say here at AV Career Masterminds, we are all more than words. And this just goes to show that our youth is definitely ready and willing to get into the industry. And make sure you take a listen to all of my friends over at AVNation, and make sure you like and subscribe wherever you listen. Thanks, everyone. See you at InfoComm.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
This is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AV Nation.